He was flesh, but not like you, not like me. He was different. They called him psychic flesh type, a label, a category, a way to separate him from the rest of us. But what did it mean? What was it like to be him? To inhabit a body that defied the laws of nature? To possess abilities that bordered on the supernatural? He wasn't born this way. It wasn't a choice. One day, he was ordinary. The next, everything changed. His cells hummed with a strange energy. He felt a lightness, a buoyancy, as if gravity itself had loosened its grip. He was adrift in a world he no longer understood. The air became his domain. He could jump, soar, glide through the air with effortless grace. A flick of his mind, a twitch of his muscles, and he was airborne. Up, up, above the rooftops, above the trees, the world shrinking beneath him. For a brief, exhilarating moment, he was free. But freedom, he soon discovered, was a fickle mistress. With every leap, every effortless ascent, came the weight of expectation. People stared, pointed, whispered, "Look, it's him, the flying man." Their gaze, a mixture of wonder and fear, followed him everywhere. He was a spectacle, a freak show attraction. His gift, a curse in disguise. They called him Air Jordan, a nickname both flattering and cruel. Like the legendary basketball player, he possessed extraordinary aerial abilities. But unlike Jordan, he didn't choose this path. He never dreamed of soaring through the air, of defying gravity with every step. This wasn't his dream, it was his reality. And like Jordan, he felt the crushing weight of expectation. People expected greatness, effortless artistry, every time he took flight. But he wasn't Michael Jordan. He was just a man, struggling to control a power he never asked for, a power that seemed to define his every move. His powers were new, raw, untamed. He was like a child with a loaded gun, unaware of the potential consequences of his actions. He would jump on impulse, soar without thinking, his laughter echoing through the streets as he navigated the urban landscape with reckless abandon. But his immaturity had consequences. He accidentally knocked over street vendors, startled unsuspecting couples, caused traffic jams with his aerial antics. His inability to control his powers, his childlike impulsiveness, only served to reinforce the public's perception of him as a danger, a menace, a freak. Even the most mundane tasks became fraught with danger, a constant reminder of his inability to control his own body. Take going to the bathroom, for example. What should have been a simple act became a logistical nightmare. One minute he'd be standing at the urinal, the next, he'd be soaring towards the ceiling, his aim thrown off by his uncontrolled ascent. The shame, the humiliation, was almost too much to bear. He tried explaining his condition, but people just laughed. They thought he was making excuses, that he was just a pervert who enjoyed exposing himself in public restrooms. He was trapped, a prisoner in his own body, his every move scrutinized, ridiculed, misunderstood. Section 6. A life lived in public. The walls close in. Privacy, he learned, was a luxury he could no longer afford. Every time he stepped outside, he was on display. People recorded him on their phones, uploaded the videos to social media, dissected his every move. He was a viral sensation, the subject of countless memes and internet debates. But behind the online fame, behind the laughter and the ridicule, was a deep-seated fear. He was exposed, vulnerable, his every move open to public scrutiny. He felt like an animal in a zoo, constantly observed, judged, dissected. He yearned for anonymity, for the freedom to move through the world without being noticed, without being defined by his abilities. Section 7. No choice, no control, yearning for a different path. He didn't ask for this. He didn't choose to be different. He just wanted to live a normal life, to blend in with the crowd, to experience the simple joys of anonymity. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. He was destined to stand out, to be forever defined by his extraordinary abilities. He tried to fight it, to suppress his powers, to pretend he was normal, but it was no use. His true nature always found a way to reassert itself, usually at the most inopportune moments. He was trapped in a paradoxical existence, both blessed and cursed by his extraordinary gift. Section 8. The unending quest for acceptance. All he wanted was to be accepted, to be seen as something more than just a freak show attraction. He craved human connection, the warmth of genuine friendship. the comfort of knowing that someone, somewhere, understood his struggle. He tried to use his abilities for good, to help those in need. He rescued people from burning buildings, stopped runaway cars, performed daring feats of heroism that made headlines around the world. But even his good deeds were met with suspicion, with fear. He was a ticking time bomb, people said, a danger to himself and others. Section 9. A dream of autonomy, to stand on solid ground. He dreamed of a day when he could control his powers, when he could choose when and how to use them. He longed for the day when he would no longer be defined by his abilities, when he could finally live a life free from fear, free from judgment, free from the burden of being different. Until then, he would continue to fight, to strive for acceptance, to search for a place where he truly belonged. He was the psychic flesh man, a walking paradox, a symbol of both hope and fear. He was a reminder that even in our darkest moments, even when faced with the most extraordinary challenges, the human spirit yearns for connection, for understanding, for the freedom to define its own destiny.